Christ, to show the goodness in us. And Father God, we just want to celebrate the seniors, the graduates of 2021, whether it be graduates from high school, college, basic training, you name it. We just want to celebrate them on their accomplishments today, Father God, and strengthen them and encourage them and motivate them as they get prepared for the next level. And Father God, we want to pray a hedge of protection around them to keep them from any hurt, harm, or danger, or any snares that the enemy may have for them out there in the real world. And we ask you, Father, to please forgive them of their sins, to help lead them and guide them in the right way. And anything that that you find not pleasing unto your eyesight, we ask that you remove it, Father God, and continue to strengthen their parents and encourage their parents and give the parents the things that they need to give them the tools and the weapons to help them survive out there in this crazy world, Father God. And Father God, we're going to lift them up to you. We offer them up to you. They're not ours, they're yours, Father God. And we just want you to cover them and protect them. All these blessings we ask in your darling son, Jesus' name. Let every believer say amen. Amen. So, good afternoon. And I have with me today Mr. Josiah Triggs. He's the son of Nikki Moore Lacewell and Robert Triggs. And I have Nikki and Josiah joining me today. And I'm going to give them opportunity to just introduce themselves and talk a little bit. And we'll start ladies first. So we'll start with Nikki.
Good afternoon, family. I am Nikki Lacewell, and I am the mother of this wonderful young king sitting here, Josiah Triggs. And I have just want to give a shout out to my other two children, Isaiah Triggs and Halo Lacewell, who you might hear in the background. She's sitting over here. Say hi. But yeah, we are here to celebrate all the graduates, whether it be from college or high school. This has been a very tumultuous year with COVID and all of the different changes and adaptation that's been required. So we definitely do want to take this time to honor all of the graduates. And I will hand it back to you, Robert.
Well, Josiah, we're going to pass the mic to you and tell everybody a little bit about yourself, son.
Okay, well, I'm Josiah. I recently graduated from the Shelton School after 8 years being at the school. It's been, a rough ride, especially for the last 2 years during COVID. But all I can say is I made it through. So I graduated last week, and my next step plans are going to Sam Houston State University to study engineering technology.
That's awesome. That's amazing. And keep in mind, too, people, we have other people that have graduated. My son just graduated, Robert Williams Jr., my niece, Journey Mack. And there's a lot of people out there that have graduates. And in our comments, and I have people working in the background, got Miss Nia handling stuff in the background too. In the comments, if you haven't already sent in your pictures or anything like that to us to help honor, your graduates and stuff, you can still send those in. Also, we were working on a video and just some breakdown and communication and stuff like that, and some stuff we're trying to work out, but it's still not too late either. We're going to put together a video. We just want to feature the graduates, and whether, I know we got some people like Chanel, her son graduated from the Air Force. That's an honor too, because that's another achievement. But not even if it's just high school graduates, but college graduates, whether you graduated from basic training, anywhere where you're taking that next step in life, we want to make sure that we honor these kids, want to honor them for their well-doing and the things and the hard work that they put in. If you want us to say your child's name or anything like that, you can put it in the comments there. They'll relay the message to us. We'll be more than happy to honor your children, because this is truly an accomplishment. So we want to celebrate. We wouldn't want to leave anybody out. We are West Texas strong, and a lot of the people that are sending stuff in may be from our area. But anybody that wants to send it in, that follows our platform, and you want us to honor your graduate, please send us stuff in. And today we just wanted to talk to you. I started out trying to have a plan and put some stuff in order here on how to do it. And that's just to keep me in order so I don't be all over the place. But this has been, a very emotional and a tough time for me too, because, I had a graduate as well. And people will say, well, you got a lot of children, and I've been through this process before with me. But with my son RJ, it was just a little different. And when you're a parent, you understand what I'm talking about. And there's a certain way that things should be done in life and how it should be done. And when you are a parent and you went through the parenting process from beginning to the end with the child, you understand what I'm talking about. And in my case, going through all of this with RJ, out of having older children, I sit and look at all the stuff that I missed with the older children. To what it really means to be a parent and to be there and to be present and the impact that it has on our children. And so it's been emotional for me because being a parent is so amazing. And I remember my mom would always tell me, you'll never know what it means to truly be a parent, son, until you feel and you would truly just lay down your life for your children and do so much for your children. And all of this has to do with the graduates because there's a process to get here, and it's not easy. It's not easy at all. And I can only imagine for parents or whether single parents and where, you know, there's just so much that goes into raising children and to get them to this point. And then you even have some children who don't have parents. Grandparents have to get them to this point. Some people that just don't have anybody but God himself, or just other people from the outside, friends and family, that just to get them to this point. And so knowing that, Nikki, how has the process, you know, without going all in, because I know it gets tough. There's hills and valleys throughout this entire process. But to be a parent and be a mom and raising a young man or raising a young man, I mean, what's that like?
I would say definitely, I'm not necessarily giving advice, but just sharing my experience. What has been modeled for me and what's important to me is to keep the faith and to remain steadfast throughout peaks and valleys, because we know that in this life, in this faith walk that we do, things constantly change and they go up and down. And maybe Josiah will have an opportunity to kind of share what it's been like the last 2 years for our family. But I would say as a parent, to just stay on your knees and to remain steadfast and to keep the faith, and also to just to be a listening parent. Because when we think that things are going well for our children, they have, especially this year, as so much has happened and there have been so many changes. So Isaiah, Josiah's oldest brother, you know, we kind of navigated his senior year. He had about a half of his senior year once COVID started. So he was experiencing things like, we won't have a prom. I won't, you know, be able to have a face-to-face graduation, and what that feels like and sounded like for he and his friends as they all graduated and went away to college. And now he's ended his freshman year successfully at college. And now Josiah, we thought that we'd be finished with COVID. And Josiah had a similar experience as well. Josiah he did virtual learning the whole year, and he didn't get a chance to go to the football games and all those different things that, you know, you and I experienced when we were in school. And so just being willing to be a parent, to sit and listen to how that has felt for them, and to just, you know, sit and encourage them and support them and love them through the disappointment of what they thought it was going to look like and what it actually was. I believe is very, very important. And those are important mainstays to continue to have as they go on to their next journey, whether it be college or career or military or whatever it is, to just be available as a parent to listen and to show your level of support in the way that you can. And my oldest son just surprised me and let me know that the way that I've always loved him and was there for him in many ways, he now needs me to pivot as he's growing and maturing into his manhood. So he's expressed some ways that I can now transition to better meet his needs. And so just being willing to be reflective as a parent, to always be there and support your children for whatever it is that they need, while also too holding them accountable to who you've raised them to be. Awesome. And
Josiah, before I go to you, I want to also say congratulations to Traylon Terrell Goodman. Mother is Angela Goodman. Want to say congratulations to Antonio Lopez. The parents are Monica and Alberto Lopez. Want to say congratulations to those graduates as well. But Josiah, for you as a young boy, young man, getting ready to step out there in the world on your own too, what has that experience, what has that ride been like for you, man, to go through all of this stuff and dealing with this COVID stuff and having to overcome that and a new look virtual school and all of this stuff? I mean, how was that for you? I mean, you ever had times, that you just felt like, man, am I ever going to get up out of here? What was that like?
It first, it's been very challenging. For the past, 2 years, I have done virtual school or doing school online. Ever since we were sent home last year, and this year, I just did completely virtual. It was hard for me because so they opened up the school this year, and a lot of my friends went back to school because it was virtual, and I was one of the people who stayed back. Um, that was the hard part for me because I didn't get to see most of my friends, but the good part about that was this was my best academic year of school because I had all A's and B's for the whole year, so this was a great, step up for me. Um, and with that, me turning back my challenges led me to uh, better outcomes, being having a great year. And at the end of the year, we had a face-to-face graduation. We even had like a Mayfest celebration at the end of the year because it was the seniors' last day before exams. I was able to attend that, see everybody, um, and then graduation, and that was I guess the big day. Our last day on campus until we ever go back. But it was challenging. Uh, but yeah, it led to greater things.
That's awesome. Yes, I understand that. We also had another one just come in. We got congratulations and stuff coming in at the bottom here, and I'm trying to catch them as they do. We also want to give a congratulations to Dr. Jasmine Reddick, the parents of John and Janice Reddick. Congratulations to her on her accomplishments. Way to go, doctor. Well, I tell you what, man, it's truly been an up and a roller coaster for everybody. Because even like for us, my son RJ, he graduated this year from Colleyville Heritage High School. And I was thinking about what you said, even that, because this was like a real good year for him academically. With all the stuff that was going on at the beginning of the season, the football team, our varsity football team, they had to homeschool because they didn't want to take the chances of team and players being out. And even going through all that kind of stuff, you still ran into stuff where games were having to be canceled and all of this. And the children couldn't wait to go back to in-person school. You had some in person, some at home, and it's just been a roller coaster for everybody. But to see him excel in his first offer was a dean's scholarship to McMurray, and to see him make those kind of accomplishments, because I always tell people, you got to have a backup plan. You got to have something to fall back on. And even if you're these guys that pursue and look for these athletic scholarships, these music deals and all of that, that's all fine and dandy because you got these gifts and talents. But when that kind of stuff falls through and it doesn't happen, what's your backup plan? And your education, that's why they always say you're a student athlete. Those grades are key. Those are the most important to me, because no matter what, when you got those grades and you got that diploma and that degree, those are things that you chose to do, that your accomplishments for your hard work and your efforts. And man, so anybody that can overcome the stuff that y'all are overcoming to accomplish the things that you're accomplishing, and with all the stuff that we've been faced with, it shows a lot about who you all are today. And it also shows a lot about, your stock, who you come from, the people, your village. Got another one coming in. Oh, congratulations to my niece, Journey Mack. She is the daughter of Marty Mack and Ebony Williams. We want to say congratulations to her as well. She graduated from Roswell High School, and she'll be going on to the University of Houston, pursuing dance. congratulations to you too, Journey. Way to go.
Congratulations. And Rob,
And
you touched on a point.
Mhm.
I kind of liken this year. It's one thing to persevere through hard, difficult things. Like, hello, graduating from high school is a huge feat in itself. But I liken this year of the pandemic COVID graduation year or school year to running a race. But as you're running that race, you're already tired. Your muscles are tired. You're out of breath. You can't breathe, and you're, having that self-talk and telling yourself, I'm almost at the finish line. I can keep going. Let me keep going. But this year has been like running a race, a 200-yard dash or 400 sprint relay, whatever it is. And a hurricane and a tornado came out of nowhere, and you still are focused on the goal and you still keep running. And so that's what I think about when I think about all of our students this year in school, and our graduates in college and our graduates in high school, because literally they have had to deal with the swirls and the storms from everywhere and stay focused on the goal. And so we're talking to graduates who are graduating from college, and many of them who are graduating, they're going on to the next. And so to be able to still have that strength and that fortitude to continue despite everything that they've navigated this year, I just want to give a special shout out and kudos to that, because those are the makings of who they are going to become in the future.
That's awesome. Josiah, just looking back at how you were raised and brought up, what do you think? Give us what's like the main ingredient is the key, the center and the nucleus of to just what's kept you on course, man. Even when you've had plenty of opportunities, I'm sure, just like everybody else, to just give up, man, and throw in the towel. What's been your main go-to that's gotten you through this? Your rock for you?
The main thing, both my mom and dad told me, keep your head up. Going with like whatever happens, just keep your head up, keep running the race, and like you were saying, make it to the finish line. And I feel like that's helped me a lot because I've been faced with like different adversaries and things that have been going on, and those are kind of like barriers that tried to get me off track. Like maybe I'll give examples. Prom, I really wanted to go to prom, but I mean, I didn't have my vaccine yet, and that was, a setback for me because that would have been a great night to be with my friends and just see everybody. But that led me to having, I guess, a face-to-face graduation, and just kept me on the focus of you're about to finish. That's just it's a one night event. It's not like it's multiple times. But the main thing that like I've been taught is just keep my head up and focus on like the finish line, to focus on what the outcome is.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. They want me to give congratulations to Robert Williams Jr. The parents are Robert Williams and Leanna Davis. Congratulations, son, RJ, on your accomplishments. I'm very proud of you, son, especially considering all that you've overcome and all that you've been through. Every child is different, and your love for them, you got this love, and it's just, you look at how you name your children. And out of 7 girls and 4 boys, RJ is not my oldest son. Devontae's my oldest. RJ's the next to the oldest. But I didn't name my first son RJ. I named him. And it's funny how you name your children, how the names fit them. And of all the ones that name RJ, I picked the right one. And this young man is truly an overcomer. Very proud of him, all of his accomplishments and the things that he's been through. And see, RJ, one of the things I wanted to share with you guys today, that, the only way I know how to do it is just that when we started this, we was talking about being transparent with people and being real with people. And the best way to give people something that's going to help them out later on in life is people being real about the way it really is out there, man. And not faking and shaking with you and sugarcoating it. And it's no joke out there in the real world. And children, y'all don't ask to be here. But once you get to that point and your parents and everybody have worked hard to get you to a certain point. All the things, the way we were raised, the things we were taught, whether you were kept in church or not, all of that stuff, that's all great. That's why they say you train a child up. And, you know, and I was brought up in the church and kept in the church. But when I got my opportunity to be on my own and be at school, and mama and daddy's not around no more, and nobody's there to really tell you to get up now, and you go to school and all the things you know to do, your choices, it's you now. And I mean, it's all about choices. This whole thing, it's all about choices. Everything is a choice. You choose to do all of this stuff, just like you choose your career paths and where you want to go in life. When you're out there and you're raised a certain way, and no matter who your parents are, there's things that you can do in your life and choices that you can make that can take you out, make or break you. And all you need is an opportunity. And a lot of you guys have been blessed with the opportunity to continue on your education, however you may got it, whether it be scholarship offers, whatever it is. You got there, you got that opportunity, but what are you going to do with that opportunity? And even for you to get to where you're at today, Josiah, and all the other graduates, you had to make a choice. It didn't just happen that way. You had to make a choice. You had to choose that I'm going to listen to what mom and dad say or what the teachers say, and I'm going to do my homework and do the things that it takes to walk across that stage. Even the parenting process to get you there, it's a choice, because some parents, man, it gets tough. And there's days with all the other stuff on top of all the other stuff that we as adults have going on in our life. You got this stuff going on too. And when you start making choices that's going to just add more stress and more things to you, I mean, you'll drive yourself crazy. You'll go insane. But I want to make sure that if you don't get nothing else out of the day, that you understand your choices, man. Your choices on how you live your life, regardless of how you was raised, it's going to all come out now. That's why they always tell people, they can tell by your fruit. And I can guarantee you the choices I made, little black boy from West Texas, Sweetwater, Texas, who mama's boy and raised and spoiled. And when I got out there on my own and it was my opportunity, I guarantee you, I was not making the choices that I was raised and taught how to make. And I didn't have those people looking over my shoulder, telling me when to get up for class or not stay out late all and doing this and out chasing girls or whatever it is you choose to do. You understand? No matter what you do and what you tell us, when it's all said and done, it's going to be in the fruit. We're going to know if you was doing your studies. We're going to know if you was taking care of business. We're going to know if you was living the way you were raised. All that. You don't have to say nothing. Your choices are going to speak for themselves. And you will delay your stuff. You will cause yourself to lose your stuff. I mean, you can have it right there and be gone just like that, all because of choices. And it's not easy out there. It's not. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you it is. And if you made it to this point and you're still here, you know that it's not easy.
Do I
know it wasn't easy.
Do I see you taking notes over there, Josiah?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Alrighty.
And I want you to understand, if you've heard some of this before from your parents, we don't all get together and huddle up. And with each child, it is different. And as a parent, I tell people all the time, as a parent, as you go through the process, each child, you're supposed to get better at less mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. Even in parenting now, I still make mistakes. You don't always get it right. We're only human. But the thing is, it's in the process, it's getting better and getting better. And I love it because being a parent is truly, I love it. Even though I set it up the way I did and I did it the way I did, it hurts that all the other children, the older children, didn't get that time. You know what I'm saying? And as a dad and as a mom, you know what I mean when I say that time, you know, being there when they're born and getting to go through those early years and those stages and those key important stages too, that helps mold them and helps, you know, because that helps. That has a lot to do with who we are and who we become. Because then when we get older, we all got daddy issues, mama issues, we all got these generational curses. There's always something hanging on. And even you, young man, you're at that point in life, you're going to get to break some of those things about maybe in your bloodline that maybe as a man you want differently, and you want things for when you have a family and you become a dad. You want to be able to say, well, hey, my mom and dad, they did good here, get me here to this point. But now at this point, what can I do and what can I lead? And what kind of choices am I going to make that's going to either be good or bad for my family or my future and what I want? Because you have no idea what the future holds. You don't know what tomorrow holds until you get there. And your choices are key to your success and what you do in life and where you go. And don't ever forget that. And that's for any graduate. Don't ever forget that. And understand, you're in the military, we used to say, do what your collar can stand. Some of these guys go out and they do stuff and they'll tell them, a good soldier is a soldier who doesn't get caught. Because we all do something wrong at some point in time in our life. And it's all, whether it was against how we was raised or not, we all do something wrong. It's just that, hey, sooner or later, the covers will get pulled back, it'll get revealed, it'll come to light. But you got to make sure, man, I know we're going to make mistakes in life, and we're not always going to get it right. We're not perfect, but you got to be careful on your choices. You have to be careful on the choices you make. We've lived our lives. We've made our mistakes. We've been there. We're just trying to help you and keep you from making some of the same mistakes. We had somebody join us. How you doing? Who do we have here?
Zion Blair from I was here last year for the senior thing. So.
Oh yeah, I'm like, you look familiar. Zion Blair, welcome, man. What do you got for him? I know you got some good. Oh, I remember this young man. How's it been for you?
It's been a process. Let's say it like that. It's been a process. When we went to college, when we went in during COVID time, and then so trying to navigate through that, and also trying to navigate through life, it's kind of difficult, but you learn how to pressure work. So
yeah, and Zion, real quick, for those who don't know you, give them just a real quick, tell them your name and stuff, a little bit about you. You graduate when and all of that. Give them a little bit about you right quick.
Cool. My name is Zion Blair. Right now I go to Texas State University at San Marcos. I graduated from Red Oak High School with Nia Carter. And I mean, I guess that's all I can really say. My major is musical theater, and yeah.
And Zion, what if you had any advice to give to seniors? What advice would you give?
Okay, I'm gonna give 3 things I think every incoming freshman should hear. Don't put too much pressure on yourself, and don't allow other people to put so much pressure on you. Going into your freshman year, you are not going to get everything right on the first try. I can promise you that. It's going to be hard. It's going to be an adjustment. And because of that, you're going to have some victories and you're going to have some defeats. With that being said, celebrate your small victories.
Yeah,
take the chances to celebrate your small victories. Okay, you may not pass every class your first go around. Celebrate the fact that you passed enough to where you are in good standing. As long as you don't hit bad standing, I think you're in a great place. And last but not least, always see the cup half full and not half empty. Now, looking at it, you may say, oh, well, that's the same thing. Yes, it is, but it's all about your perspective. If you see it as half full, then you see yourself being able to replenish and refill it up. If you see it as half empty, you're going to feel like that you don't have enough to keep going on. So always see the glass half full and not half empty.
And Zion, one other question. So when you reflect upon the summer before you went to college, so this time last year, what was it that you feel like you needed during that summertime to prepare you to hit the ground running when you got to college in the fall?
I think that before you go to school in the summer, one thing that prepared me was being able to spend a lot of time with family and spend a lot of time with friends and make sure that I enjoy the last 3 months of teenage life before I hit adult life, because adulting is very different. Very, very different. So I think that every senior now should take this summer and enjoy and breathe. One thing you don't want to do is just come out of graduating high school and then spend all summer stressing out about college that you missed this great 3-month opportunity to just breathe and have fun and to enjoy the last few days of freedom before you have to become more serious. I mean, in high school, we were serious, but we were coasting. So in college, you can't really coast. You actually have to work at it. You actually have to give your 100%. So before you have to go full in on that, take this summer to just enjoy and to breathe.
Love that. Love that.
No, one of the things I always look at too, and knowing a little bit about you, and remembering you and your upbringing and the way you were raised, and being a believer and being out there in the world on your own, and not really on your own, but out there. As for another young man coming out there and who may not be as strong or may not have the willpower, but what advice would you give them as far as the temptations and the things that you're faced with out there and you deal with, because you're faced with a lot of those, and having those freedoms now and in your upbringing, what's something you could give them on just being able to handle that kind of stuff?
My biggest advice with that is to learn God for yourself. I think if you learn God for yourself, then you're stronger in your stance. If you just go off what you've heard or what you've been taught, you're gonna waver. Someone's gonna come and try to teach you something different, and because you've only been taught and you don't know, then you're gonna be like, well, maybe I'm learning something wrong. No, know God for yourself. Once you know God for yourself, then you know what you meant to do, what you're not meant to do, what you should do, what you shouldn't do. No one can make you waver because you know. It's the difference between knowing and being taught. So,
Yes.
Love that. Love that. So we have this wonderful opportunity to have both a freshman, a student who's completed his freshman year in college, and one who is entering into college. So Robert, what do you think about having a quick Q&A between Zion and Josiah, or Zion giving Josiah specific advice about how to navigate his first year?
I was gonna ask Zion if he can give me some advice. I mean, going into college as a freshman, if you have any
advice for going in.
Anything specific, Josiah?
Yeah.
Like moving in.
Just in general. I know you said earlier, like, don't too much pressure on yourself going into college, and one thing that makes me think of is not having my schedule like always evolved around school. I've always having spent some time with others. Being with other students, and your other colleagues. I guess I can call it. But yeah, just anything in general.
I'm gonna go with the point you just said. So, college is a twofold thing. Yes, you are there to get your education, but you're also there to network. Because once you become an adult, and once you never know the people that you might meet today, might be the person you need to call on to get you a job somewhere. So yes, I messed up. My first semester, I was taking too many classes, didn't really have a lot of time for everything else. So I didn't get to really meet a lot of people. Only people I really knew were inside my dorm. But the second semester, I took the chance to branch out and meet different other people, because I felt like I needed to create connections with different other people that I might need someday. So yes, take as many classes as you can as you think you will pass, but also don't get so caught up in trying to be an A+ student that you forget about living life. The whole other part of college is living life, making those mistakes, making some victories. You have to live. I think that's one thing that I can just stress enough. You have to live. And that means living peacefully and happily. That means not stressing out about certain things that you can't control. There are going to be so many things in college that you cannot control. Accept it, move on. So yeah, I would definitely say,
gotta have that balance.
Gotta
have
have
that
balance
balance.
is the biggest thing. Balance. There are gonna be some days that you're gonna be like, I don't want to do homework. I want to go hang out with friends. No, do the homework. I promise you, it will pay off in the end. You may miss a few events or a few outgoing things, but I swear you will be grateful when you get your final transcript and when you see that you have passed. And when you make that dean list and looking at you and hearing you speak and everything, you sound like a very smart guy and very intelligent and very respectful and responsible guy. Don't lose that. I promise you, in college, it's going to be so hard to keep it, but please don't lose that. We are in a time now for us black men especially to where you see so many of us selling drugs or doing going the wrong way and not doing things right, and most of those things come from not really keeping what we had as a kid and losing that when we grow up. Please keep that. I am begging you as a black man myself. It makes me so happy to see other young black men who are responsible, who are smart, and who are respectful because we're losing that in our community right now. So keep that. Please keep that.
Now, Zion, here's a question for you. And it's a great question because I think a lot of times, especially younger, because children, they just, all we really know is love unless you just talk things a certain way. And so we're quick to call people friends and say friends and my friends. And I love hearing my younger children because everybody's their friend. And we try to get them to understand, well, everybody's not your friend, you know. But the question is, how do you define the word friend now as opposed to when you was in high school?
And can I frame that a little bit, Robert?
Help me out.
So I'm an educator, and so of course I'd have the opportunity to hear a lot from students, especially in high school, et cetera, et cetera. And you have students who are either introverts or extroverts, and sometimes students have an experience in high school to where they don't find their people, they don't find their clique. They might, just kind of beat to their own drum. And so I've heard that college gives an opportunity for you to find your people, for you to kind of experience who you are and really form your identity. So when you think about, just kind of frame the question that Robert asked you, how do you define the word friends now that you're in college versus in high school? Maybe talk to us about that experience for those who didn't find their people in high school and what that means for when they get to college.
Yes. Okay. So I'll start with finding your friends. Um, at your college, there should be like a whole bunch of different clubs. Hopefully, on the college website, they'll tell you the list of clubs somewhere. Um, Go look at those. Look at something that you might be interested in getting into. When I first came to college, I did not think I was gonna make friends, only because I'm not really an outgoing person, so it's kind of hard for me to get out of my shell sometimes. So I decided that I wanted to get into a club. I got into a choir club, and that really helped me make friends. I have a group of friends now that I know will be there for the long haul, and I met them going to this club. So that was the best opportunity you can to make friends. And also just, walking around campus. Walking around campus, you will meet a lot of people. Someone might just say, hey, and you might say, hey. And like building those small moments build long-term friendships. So don't be scared to like just speak to someone to say hi. It's okay. They are not gonna bite everyone. People are not as mean as we think they are. So if you just say hi and give them a chance, I promise you they will say hi back. And everyone in college is nice, or at least at my college. I'm hoping at everyone's college, people are nice. So yes, and then determining how I determine friends now. The way I see friends now is there has to be a proving that you're my friend. I'll use me and Nia for instance. Me and Nia have known each other since we were kids, and we were friends for so long. And being friends for so long with one person, there are issues that arise. And there was one moment in time that me and Nia probably didn't speak for like 2 or 3 years. But now we're like this now. So we have proven to be friends. I knew that everyone's not going to be my friend. I grew up with the phrase that you were saying earlier, everyone is not your friend.
That's right.
You have to divide people from friend associates and, people that use you, because you will have those. You will have people that are, if you bring a car to college, people will pretend to be your friend for your card. If you have, let's say you have a microwave and nobody else in the dorm have a microwave, people will be your friend to use your microwave. So it's just like really knowing the person, seeing how they stick up for you, seeing how they talk about you when you're not in the room, and stuff like that. So it's kind of hard to realize who your real friends are and who they're not in college, because you don't know them. If that make, like, you really don't know them, so you're having to start from scratch. So it's kind of hard, but once they have proven themselves, you know that they're going to be there for you whenever you need them. I swear you guys will have a great friendship. It's all about proving that they're actually a friend. And be clear when I listen, think about how they talk about you when you're not in the room, because that shows a lot. That shows if they're really your friend or if they're just using you, or yeah.
And also even the people that are in the room too, listening to them and allowing them to talk about you like that. If they really your friend, a real friend will put a stop button on their butt real quick. A real friend ain't gonna sit there and allow that kind of stuff either.
My dad talks about that all the time, and especially in church, because he's a pastor. So he says, no one should be able to come up to you and tell you about your friend. No one can ever come up to me and tell me about Nia Carter. Why? Because I know Nia Carter. I don't need you to tell me anything about my friend, because I know that friend. So if your friend can say that, then that's a friend.
It's true. And you got to really watch your circle and the people around you. And I'll use my situation, for example, because coming from a small country town, and not that I was sheltered, but you don't see the things when we came up in Sweetwater, the things in other places like it is in Sweetwater. It wasn't like that. So when you're a young, outgoing person and you're going off to college, and you're like me, you just want to entertain everybody and have all these people around, and you think these people are your friends. And like you said, you got to be able to know who's really on your team and who's not, because a lot of people just want to hang around you for what you got and what you have. And then you have the people that are hanging with you, and you think these people are your friends, but friends don't break into your apartment when you're out of town, because they know that you're going home visiting for the weekend, but they're supposed to be your friends, and they break into your apartment and use your apartment for whatever they want. That's not a friend, and see, these are the kind of things that I opened myself up to, being young, from a country town, different people. Everybody's not the same, gullible, naive to stuff, not thinking people are like that. And so you allow people to get around you, and you have these people that are there really to just take you out. And we don't know no better, because it does matter where you're from. Some people come from different places, and they get out there, and the world will chew you up and spit you out just because of where you're from, because you're not used to that kind of evil. And dang, I didn't think people could do such a thing. But you gotta be careful of who you allow around you. And this was good to talk about, because I was bad about that. I had too many of the wrong people around me, and didn't know no better. Just not raised that way. And it happens. Different people. And even being a young believer, not knowing what I was really and why I was believing like I do now, but being from a Christian family that's raised and kept you in a church, and then you finally get a taste of the world, I lost my mind. So everybody's story is different. And my choices and the things that I did, it delayed things and really put some weight on things just because of my choice. And so you're going to always hear me about our choices. Going off to school, here's a great opportunity for you to show. And so this is awesome. I love you, Zion, because you have been a true friend indeed. That's true.
That is beautiful.
That's true.
And as a mom, that is so I'll tell you something. That's one of the things that I will continue to pray for you and your brother for, because what Mr. Robert just shared is your experience. You also too, like Zion, you're a son of a preacher, a pastor. Also, too, you kind of lived in a bubble. You were sheltered a bit. And also, too, you were raised in a certain way, and when you go out into the real world, as Mr. Robert was saying, you assume that others were raised the same way as you, and they were not. So my prayer continually is that you will continue to be as loving and gregarious and outgoing as you are. So Zion, Josiah will not have an issue with finding friends in college. I'm just saying. But also, too, I am going to pray for you that you'll be able to discern and test spirits. Because as Mr. Robert said, you can't just assume that others are going to have their best interest in heart for you. So that's a prayer as well. And I'd love to pivot too and ask you all. So Zion, you mentioned about adulting. And the both of you all are at this time period to where y'all are becoming men. You're entering and walking into your manhood. And in doing so, your relationship with your parents change. It changes a bit, right? So I'd love to hear, Zion, what are the things that you've needed from your parents as you walk into manhood? And then Josiah, what are the things that you feel like you may need from your parents as you make this walk into this journey of manhood?
So for me, my relationship with my parents actually changed way much better than what it was when I lived in the house. When you live with your parents and you are like under their roof, under their rules, you feel as if that you can come talk to them about some things. You feel like as if you can confide in them, and like that you can be 100% honest. And me being at school and me knowing that what I'm going through, they've experienced, it helped me be able to say, hey, mom, hey, dad, this is what I'm dealing with. I need your help. How would you go about this? And now we have a tighter communication. Now we have a tighter bond. We have grown a lot. And I love them so much for everything that they have done to help me get through this first year. So yes, I feel like when you become an adult, you have this like connection now. I mean, first there was like child and parent. Now it's like adult and adult. So you have to see your parents and don't ever cross the line between parents and adult. Don't ever do that. That's bad. But now it's kind of like that you guys understand each other a little bit more. One thing I always say to teenagers who like get so mad like when their parents discipline them or anything like that, I always say try to understand. Get an understanding of why you're getting in trouble. Get an understanding of why they're saying what they're saying, because they're saying it to help you, not hurt you. You just see it as being hurt because you're getting fussed at, but they're actually saying it to help you. So once I understood that, me and my parents' relationship was great. So
yeah, I've often heard it in speaking to other parents who have kids who have graduated, and they were sharing with me last year that the change that I needed to make as a parent, as my oldest son went on to college. They said, Nikki, you're shifting from being a supervisor to a consultant. Would you agree with that, Zion?
yes.
Yeah.
Last time I was here, I said we were talking about how we wanted our parents to help us. Now you have to go from coach to cheerleader. You've been coaching us all through this time. We've learned the plays. We've got it all under control. Now you just have to sit on the sidelines and cheer us on. If we need help, we're going to call on you. We will call. And I always tell my mom, I said, hey, you don't have to call and check up on me every day. You don't have to call and ask me if I'm okay every day. I know you care and I know you're worried, but I'm at the house. And I was the last one at the house. So now they're both empty nesters. So I'm always telling them, hey, live y'all life. Y'all spent a lot of years raising me and my siblings. Go live y'all life. Let me live mine. I'm going to call y'all when I need y'all. Y'all call me when y'all need me. Whenever y'all want me to come home, I'll come home. Whenever I'm ready to come home, believe me, you will get a phone call. So I wanted my relationship with my parents to be something that can't break, something that is very sacred, and something that allows 100% honesty, 100% respect from both sides. And just, it's like we're going through life together at this point. Right. Now, at first, it was them just like helping me gather the tools for life. Now it's us going through life together. So
Love that. So then, Josiah, what are some things that you feel like, in speaking for your generation, maybe in speaking for Journey or RJ or some of the other graduates, Josiah, what do you feel like are some of the things that you may need from your parents as you transition into this next stage of life?
I mean, so for me first, I agree with Zion was talking about how you said white parents are moving on from supervising to coaching and being like the coach to a cheerleader. One of the things I think is me basically living my life, and like if there's anything that I need, then I would. I mean, obviously contact my parents like with the touch of a dial. But um, I think I mean, I think that's probably the main thing. Um, the other thing I probably would say is that's actually a good question. I think, well, thinking about that, that might be the only thing because that's actually, I guess, the only thing I'm thinking about because I've been like living in the bubble to where uh, I would have to, I guess, follow directions now. I mean, from my parents. Now it's getting to the point where, I mean, I can say if I need something, and I mean, if I do, I mean, it'll get, I guess, get done. So that would be a bigger change for me, moving on into going to college. So I think, yeah, just moving on from supervising to consulting, like what you said.
Okay.
And I know as a parent, it's tough because you got different types of parents. You know, everybody don't parent the same. And you know, just from life experiences that I've been through, I know some parents you love your children so much you don't want them to go through things. You don't want them to have to go through things. But unfortunately, that's life. It's going to happen. You know, and they're going to make those choices. We've all done it. And when you sit back and look at what parents before would tell us and grandparents, and then you get a chance, and then you're there, and then you're seeing it, and it changes as time changes, everything changes. But one thing that remains the same, you know, you can't be afraid to fail. That's, you know, out there in the life, you can't be afraid to fail. And one thing I've learned, if I can't give you nothing else that I've learned in my life, you know, like he said, what Zion was saying, you know, you don't want to have to call home, but we'll call if we need to. We'll call, and you will, but don't be afraid to call home. So, and don't wait so long and so late to call sometimes, because my dad used to always tell me, I know you don't want to make that call because you're afraid of what's about to happen or what I'm about to say, but the sooner you call, the sooner we can get on it and fix it and work. Don't wait till it gets so big and so huge that, and the weight of it and the stress of it. And then it gets to the point that it might not even be anything that anybody can do to help you or get you out of it. And it's all about, once again, choices. And I had another guy, a real good friend. He was just talking to my son the other day, giving him some, you know, words of encouragement and some pointers. And one of the things that he talked about is how he had a full ride scholarship, full ride D1, and he messed it off, not going to class, not doing, just kicking it, partying. I mean, very talented, very athletic young man, but he was being real, just not going to class, making the wrong choices. And then finally, when it got as far as it did, and then it got to the point where they sent him a bill for all this money, and then he got to call home because you owe all this money and you've lost your scholarship, things like that. Don't wait too late. It's gonna happen, but don't wait too late to call home, and don't hesitate. But you got to try first. Don't just pick up the phone and call without even put forth any effort or trying to figure it out or work it out, because that's gonna be what makes or breaks you. It's being out there in the real world, and being able to man up and woman up and give it a shot, and not be afraid to fail, and give it a shot before we just pick up the phone and call mom and dad, because one day mom and dad are not going to be there. You're not going to have that lifeline, and you got to be able to figure it out, man. You got to be, and that's what we all have each other for, and that's why you got God and your support systems. But you got to try to figure it out, because you're going to have moments and times in your life where it's going to feel like you're all alone, and you're really not. But that's because God has you right where he wants you. And he don't need nobody right now but just you and him, because he's trying to take you somewhere. And he's trying to transition you and take you to a higher and a newer you. But nobody can interrupt and interfere. And sometimes it can be painful, the process. But I'm telling you, everything that you've been taught, everything your parents have taught you, believe in it, trust them on it, trust the process, and make the right choices. That's what it's going to all boil down to, making the right choices.
And I love that you said that, Mr. Robert, because Zion and Josiah, as y'all are making the change as well, know that we as parents, we're going through changes too. We're trying to figure it all out, like, oh my gosh, I can't go in there and bug Josiah. I can't, make sure that he's on his chores. No, he's gone. He's grown into a grown man. And so Mr. Roberts said the thing that helps all of us strike a balance, which is if you can come up with that agreement like you have with your parents, Zion, about, Mom, I don't need you to call me every day, but trust that I know that you're a coach. So I'm going to call you when I need to. I think that's the agreement that helps both parents and child to move into that new stage of life, to have that agreement, to know that I am going to, as Mr. Roberts said, his parents said, don't wait to the last minute. So Mom and Dad, I'm not going to wait to the last minute when I know that I'm kind of walking into dangerous territory. I'm going to make the call. I'm going to call audible. And then we as parents, we promise not to be a helicopter parent and, hover over you every day and call you every day and text you and blow your phone up. But also, too, we're going to have those weekly or bi-weekly check-ins to make sure that you're okay and to remind each other of that agreement. So I love that because we're all just trying to balance it, right, Mr. Robert?
That's right. And I try to be as real and transparent as I can because, like I said, everybody's not the same. And everybody's experiences are different. Because I was telling my children the other day, me and my mom, we were all laughing at this. But my first year of college, my mom called me every morning to make sure I was up for school, just like I was still in high school, because I had 3 alarms set in 3 different locations so that I would have to get up out the bed and go turn them off. And see, I see why I get so mad and frustrated with my son, RJ. I can go in there and kick his bed. I can flip it. I can do whatever. The boy will sleep through anything. And I have to think back when my mom, and I have to try to change the way I parent, but I got to remember the love and the things and the patience she showed me, because if I didn't get somebody to call and wake me up, I wasn't getting up. And it's supposed to be a priority and important to me. And it wasn't that it wasn't, I couldn't wake up. And so my mom would call, and I'm in college, getting woke up every morning. Robert, you up? And then call right back. Are you still in the bed? Are you up now? You need to get up, boy. You got school. And not for everybody, because some parents, I hear parent stories, man, I wish he would not get up. He'll sleep in and miss school. But some parents are like that. They're going to be like, well, he just won't go today. But mine, get your butt up. You got to go. And so, hey, anything I can share with you, because mine's going to be real stuff, real life experiences, things that I went through, because that's all I can give you.
Right.
And then somebody else could come along and give you something different. But for people who looked at me and thought because of who my name was and who my parents was, that I wasn't capable of doing some of the foolishness I was doing, well, newsflash, I'm only human. Nobody's perfect. We all get that opportunity. What are you going to do with it? What kind of choices are you going to make?
Zion, I want to ask you a question. Like, so you just finished your freshman year of college, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I wanted to ask you how was your transition? Leaving home, like for the first time going into college, and while you were in college, did your relationship with your parents affect like you living your life on campus? And if so, what was the relationship like?
So for me, my week, my life was mostly church. Let's say it like that. My life was church on Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe a Saturday or a Friday. I had no free time as a teenager or child at all until I got to college. So transitioning from always being at church to now I have to get there when I can, or have a lot of free time. I'm not being made to go to church 24/7. Having that moment was a transition for me because I'm so used to singing. I sing at church, so I'm so used to singing every week. So having to transition from not singing every week, it was hard. It was super hard. That first week of school, I was like something a part of me is missing. And from your transition from high school to college, you're going to feel that way in your like first to 2 weeks. Something inside of you is going to be missing. Something that you feel like you are so used to is going to be gone. And whether that may, of course, it might not be singing, but it may be something else, like the love of your parents. Like having my parents 24/7. Me and my parents don't talk like we're at home. Like when we're at home, we don't be up in each other's grills. But just knowing that they're downstairs and I can go down there and physically go see them and say hey and like bother them, and then having to transition and not being able to do that, that was hard. So stuff like that, you just have to find ways to cope. So now me and my dad FaceTime. Me and my mom, we do the FaceTime on Messenger because she has an Android. Hopefully the Lord will deliver her. So we do that, and that helped. And then I joined the choir. That helped singing. It's the transition is hard for the first 2 weeks because you're feeling like you're trying to find ways to make where you are now feel like home. But you have to actually put in the effort to make it feel that way. Don't just sit there and think, okay, at some point it's gonna feel like home at some point. It's not if you don't put forth the effort to make it feel home. So do what you have to do, find ways to cope, find ways to make yourself feel comfortable in your space. If that makes sense. Did that answer your question?
It did. It did.
Love that. Well, I wanted to say, Robert, listening to both Zion and Josiah, it as a parent, as a mom to Isaiah and Josiah and little Halo, I think I'm going to institute with them, and of course I'm going to ask their feedback on it. But in order to being the mother of boys, sometimes they're not as communicative as they maybe need to be, or I want them to be. So I think I'm going to institute some language with them that we can all utilize. And I'm working it out in my mind. And Brian and Josiah give me some feedback. So I'm thinking about instituting with Isaiah and Josiah. When you do blank, 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 it makes me feel blank, blank, blank. But what I really need is blank, blank, blank. What do you think about that?
I 100% agree that works. That's how me and my mom communicate now. And even before I even like left for college, that's how we communicated. There were a lot of times where, she would not say the right things every time. Not because she meant it that way. It's just that she grew up differently. She was raised differently than I was, different times. So what she needed back then and what I need are two different things. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the times I'm always saying, Mom, I know that's not what you meant, but when you said that or when you did that, this is how that made me feel. Next time, how about we do this instead? How about you say this instead? Like we had this open communication to where I can tell her when she's wrong, she can tell me when I'm wrong, and we don't get offended by it.
I love that.
Because it's a partnership. A parent and child relationship is a partnership. Both of y'all have to be able to communicate perfectly in order for you guys to not have any friction with each other. So definitely having that, hey, the way you said this or the way you did that, or when you came home and fussed at me and didn't tell me why, this made me feel that type of way. Next time, could you just possibly say da 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 da? That helps because it makes us feel as a child that you care. A lot of the times when we don't have that communication, we feel like our parents don't care about us. Our parents just love to yell at us and they just don't care. That's not the case. A life-changing decision, a life-changing moment that made this connection with my mom happen. One time I had got in trouble for something really bad. And for the first time in my life, she looked at me and said, I'm disappointed in you. And if you're a mama's boy, then that is something that sets you off. And it wasn't even the what she said. It was the way she looked. Her eyes, you could really tell she was disappointed. You in that moment, it felt like we were disconnected, and I hated it. I legit hated it. It ate me up inside. And from that moment on, I said, Mom, I never want to feel disconnected from you. I never want to feel like I can't come and talk to you, or that you can't come and talk to me, or that I can't come and give you a hug just because. I never want to feel like that. So we need to find a way to communicate a little bit better, or talk to each other a little bit more, check in with each other. Checking in with your parents is like the best thing you could ever do as a child. Checking in. Finding those moments saying, hey, Mom, are you good? Like, do you need anything? Or, hey, son, are you good? Do you need anything? Having those moments, that helps. It's really all about being partners, and not just really focusing on the fact that you're mother and son, or father and son, or father and daughter, mother and daughter. It's really more about being partners, because again, you're going through life together. It's a partnership. You signed that partnership after 9 months.
Yes.
So
I love
Yeah,
that.
when I start hearing stuff like that, I'll be like, what you want?
I know. So Robert, we should anticipate getting this text. When you text me every day, it makes me feel smothered. Might you just call me every 2 weeks? Josiah, is that what you're going to text me?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I personally, I feel like personally for me, it's better like talking than texting, because it feels like that there's some things that you might hold back through a text, then when you talk, it just like blurts out. I mean, and like kind of what Zion was saying, like all this is coming out of care, and I wanted to add on that, like it's coming out of respect, because it's kind of the adult to adult conversation, but you still got to know, like those are your parents, you can't disrespect them, or I mean, it's gonna be bad. But so I mean, and especially with my, I guess with my personality, it's gonna be. I think I say this now, but it may be different. It's probably gonna be easy for me, to keep in contact with my parents. I mean, because yeah, like there are times that I'm gonna miss them, like while I'm in college, and I'm like, I want to talk to my mom or my dad, but yeah, I mean, and each time I do that, it would be out of respect and, um, I guess making sure what I say is right and not coming out of disrespect. So I mean, I think yeah, it'd be easier for me to call than text.
I like people call all that texting. You can misunderstand stuff through text too.
Oh, yes, Lord.
Now, but most people they do a better job of getting out what they have in through text, because some people feel like, well, when I have that conversation, I don't really get a chance to get nothing in. This is the only way I can get it all into you and hope you read it. But a lot of people, they'll read so much of your text and then they don't read no more. So, I like to talk. My children will text me right here in the house. You in there and you gonna text me over here. So no, don't text me in no house. But I have really, really, really enjoyed you guys today. I was looking at the time. I'm trying not to drag things out too long, and I don't want it to be like, it gets to that point where we're searching and looking, because the main thing we wanted to do is get on today and celebrate our graduates and on your accomplishments, and really want to thank you for even coming in and joining us, and being able to put some insight on, being new to it. You were in that position last and you graduated. Now you've gotten through college, the 1 year of college, and now this young man's getting ready to go out there. So you're fresh at it. So you can give them some stuff out there on what's really going on out there right now. And I think we really want to thank you for that too, because it's very helpful.
Yeah.
And just, even you, Nikki and Josiah, we want to wish you nothing but the best, even to the parents, everybody that's got to go through this, the parent side as well as the student, because it's not easy. And, it truly does take a village. I mean, I'm a firm believer in that. And like I say, anytime I speak on stuff, it's because it's truly happened. And there's going to be hills and valleys in life, man. And the people that are around you, that you surround yourself with, or that are in your circle, they're valuable and key, even in your role, in your success too. Because like he was saying a while ago, later on it gets to that point. It's who you know, the relationships and the things that you've made in life. You never know who you're going to come in contact with later on in life. that could truly have the decide and the say so, and where you go from here. You'd be like, man, one person have that much power, but that's why you live your life a certain way and your choices. You treat people the way you want to be treated, and you don't burn bridges unless those bridges just have to be burnt and cut off. But that's why you got to watch how you treat people too, because who you know is very valuable. A lot of things that have happened for me in my life has been, yeah, I did the work, or I got myself to that point and I was at the right place at the right time. But who I knew was the deciding factor. And all I had to do was say that person's name. And just because I was connected to Josiah, they gave me the job, or they offered it to me because of who I knew. And they valued that other person. That other person meant so much to them. And the birds of a feather do flock together. And people will look at your surroundings and the people that you're attached to and with and hanging out, spending your time with, and they'll throw you in that pile with them. And you don't even have to be that kind of person. And all this goes into these next steps that you're going to be going into in life, and these choices that you're going to be faced with in life. And what are you going to do? And my prayer is that when you get to those crossroads in life, that you take the higher road, or you make the better choice, or you be that one, even if you're the only one that says, hey, that's not right, I'm not doing it. Or, hey, I really wasn't raised like that, I'm not doing that. It's okay to say I'm not doing it. So keep that in mind. Don't get sucked in, man, because the enemy is crafty, and they'll look good. The enemy can look good. The enemy knows how to appeal to all your weaknesses and all that. He knows how to get you and who to use to come get you. And the enemy will use somebody that you love and care about dearly to attack you. So you have to be careful of your surroundings, and you can't be afraid to fail, and you can't be afraid to cut people off. Can't be. Can't just walk around with certain things attached to you, sucking the life out of you and draining everything that God had intended in the purpose in you for you to be great. That's the devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy. So you got to really make sure you're making those right choices. But anybody else doesn't have anything else that you'd like to add? Anybody have anything they'd like to add before we close or go? Anything on your heart you'd like to share right quick? But I was going to try to go ahead and wrap this up. You know, anybody?
I would say, Josiah, if you ever need anything, I'm pretty sure Miss Nikki, correct? Okay, Miss Nikki can probably get Miss Jackie to give you my number. I am always here. I legit do nothing when I'm at home. So if you need anything, like need any help with some advice with school, because you're gonna need some advice. And anything else, just don't be afraid to reach out. I got you. And also, like he was saying, it takes a village. If you can't call your parents, have someone you can call.
Right.
Like, that is what I learned. I have 5,000 different siblings. No, I have 7 siblings. So when I can't call my parents, I call my siblings. When I can't call my siblings, I call my cousins. If I can't call them, the list goes so on and on, because I have a lot of people who care, and I'm pretty sure you do too. Don't be afraid to call someone, and don't just call any type of help. Call good help. Call somebody that can actually help you out with
For real.
So
that's good advice right there.
Yeah.
Don't waste your time just calling anybody.
Yes.
But yeah, for sure. I mean, for sure, I'll definitely give you a heads up if I need anything. And I mean, other than that, I'm just excited for next steps. And yeah, just excited.
And I just want to say one final congratulations to all of the seniors graduating high school and college. Congratulations. Huge, huge accomplishment. And just want to say thank you to Ms. Jackie and Mr. Robert for giving me an opportunity to share my experiences. It was more so of a blessing to me as a mom and to Josiah's mom than to, me sharing my experiences. So thank you again.
Yes, congratulations to you all. Don't be afraid to pick up the phone and call somebody. It does take a village. And when we're all in this together, and we truly are, but stay connected to God. If you're nothing else, keep God first in your life. Keep God. And if you don't believe in God, then keep something good and something with purpose first in your life. Something with some meaning that's going to give you some purpose and direction in your life so that you can be successful. Set yourself up for success. Just this morning, me and my wife was talking about he who fails to plan, plans to fail. You got to have a plan. You gotta have a plan. So once again, we want to thank you from West Texas Empowerment. We are West Texas Strong. You be encouraged. We love y'all, and everybody have a blessed day.
Bye-bye.